Let's go, let's go. It's time to get started again. So, hope all of you are doing well today. Hope all of you have been having a decent week so far. Hope all of you have gotten off to a somewhat decent start. I know you guys are probably wondering why there is a logo instead of my picture. The reason why I went with the logo instead of the picture is that is going to be my brand new logo of the headset and the background. I did that today on Canva. Um, so that's going to be, the new look for the channel. Or actually, that whole banner is going to be the brand new look for the channel. I'm still learning Canva, still trying to get used to it. Now, when I put down also Call of Duty and more, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is now putting their pre-orders out there. They have the October 23rd release date. Now that is almost dang near the end of October. The insane part that I think about that is, look how close that is to Grand Theft Auto 6 that is coming out November 19th. That's kind of crazy there when you think about that. Because that is only a few weeks apart from the release date of that, and you're having Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. So it's kind of crazy because you're only giving a little bit of time for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 to breathe. Because that's going to be a new game in itself. Plus, Grand Theft Auto 6 will be a new game in itself that'll have to have breathing space. A Rockstar title, however, you're still going to have plenty of player base because Rockstar has their own fans. They have their own fans, their own fan base, people that surround that game. So or surround that brand, so to speak. So you're going to have people that one way or another are still going to get on the bandwagon for that. Now, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, my opinion on that, might be a little bit different. You will still have your fans, however, that are going to be on board with that and still get it. Me, however, I have had the pleasure through Game Pass being able to play the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed being able to have Game Pass to enjoy that. My opinions on Game Pass dissolving in a way, or them wanting to kind of go that direction, I think it's a little bit crazy. Yeah, you might not have made very much profit with it, but here's the thing. Even though your profits have not been made all that well with that because of certain things, I can understand, say, if you want to pull first party titles off of there, or if you wanted to do like the whole Call of Duty thing of pulling off some of the titles, or pulling some of the titles off of that. I can understand if you want to do that. But to dissolve the whole thing of Call of Duty in a modern age where you don't have your game rental places anymore, you don't have your Blockbusters, you don't have your rental places where you can go rent games anymore. Now that we're in the age of digital age, games are pretty much all like basically bought and downloaded on consoles anymore. And that's the way a lot of people are going. The thing is, that's sort of where Game Pass basically has that feel. Because people can try before they buy to see if they're even going to like it. Yeah, you could still go and purchase games, even if you're not going through Game Pass, to even do it. I can understand if you want people to buy games completely. Now, me as a consumer, I'm still going to pay for games, even outright, if it's something I really want. If it's a game that's going to be a part of my library, I'll go buy it outright. I don't have to go to Game Pass. I've went to Game Pass maybe just to try a couple of games, just to see if they were for me or not. Yeah, I think that's where Game Pass is an awesome thing to have for that reason. Because it opens people up to games that are out there that sometimes people might not know about. Yeah, and the Call of Duty franchise through Activision is a decent franchise. But let me tell you this. Every franchise out there can always say, oh, they can always put a cross to try to be the most decent franchise. But here's where it's going to get you. The thing of it is, once there starts to become just the slightest issue with the franchise, once that's exposed, that franchise real quick tries to find a way to cover it up. Or finds a way to try to tell you, oh, okay, no, this is not too bad here. We'll fix this up for you. You have to be cautious of that. You have to be aware. And most of all, too, in this day and age where all these big billionaires, these companies that are all money hungry, they're just out there to to squeeze every dime out of you. Yeah, I mean, these games are awesome. Yeah, they're made by people's hands and people's talents. These people that get hired at these companies and have this degree, and they're making, all kinds of money and stuff like that. It's awesome to see how much video games have changed and have stepped up. But us as consumers and as gamers, now I'm not speaking for everyone here, today, or anyone that tunes into this channel. And thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for all of you that continue to support this channel and help me to by sharing and clicking like and helping me to promote my videos out there and helping me to grow this channel, even my subscribers. For those of you that continue to support, greatly appreciate it. But this day and age, you really do have to watch. Because the thing of it is, you might like these games because they're cool and they're awesome because of the hours that these companies put into to make it. But always be cautious and remember that the money you're spending on it, these billionaires, they're anxious to take that money. And in a hurry, even if the game has just the slightest flaw, a lot of these companies, they won't care. You can write tons of emails, you can write tons of correspondence to these companies, but that doesn't mean that it's guaranteed to be heard. That doesn't mean it's guaranteed that you're going to get answers back. It doesn't mean that, even if you pay for a product, that it's a guaranteed product that you're going to get a response if something happens to that product. Or if that product isn't to your liking. So as a consumer, you also have to do the buyer beware. you also have to be aware of what you're investing in and how much you're investing into it. Because this day and age, it's easy to be taken for a free ride. It's easy to be taken advantage of. It doesn't matter if it's accessories for your game system, games in general. This is getting to be a very pricey hobby, and it's going to get even worse. There ain't no doubt in my mind about how much crazier this will get the longer that things go on. Do I love this right now? Yes. Do I enjoy doing this? Having a channel where I can come on and talk about this stuff? Yes. Do I love gaming? Heck yeah. Do I enjoy what I've done over the years from the year 2022 all the way to 2026? Yes. Gaming has been a huge part of my life. I have been in the construction industry for over 2.5 years. I've been a jack of all trades for over 2.5 years. I have done every other job you can think of. I've pulled trees down. I've done drywall. I've done painting. I've laid brick. I have done a lot of jobs in my time. I even have cleaned out my game system. I've done stuff in Votech in school as I was getting my learning and my education throughout school. But the thing of it is, I've done all those things. I've even dabbled a bit in wrestling. But I will tell you this right now, that all of those things combined, none of them have ever been as fulfilling as being a gamer. It's something about this hobby that has always drawn me back to it. That the world of video games has been an awesome thing for me. How the systems are made, how the graphics that are in them, the chipsets, the motherboards, right down to the stories written, the character work, all the things that are put into this. So it becomes this like huge production thing in itself is amazing. But don't forget, there is ignorance in everything that you're surrounded by every day. Remember to have fun, but also remember to watch your wallet too, because, as things are getting expensive and as we have expenses in life, you do have to watch out for that stuff. But, it's going to be fun because you got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, GTA 6, Fable, which I also was hearing something about Fable, how they were wanting to get people's reactions if Fable was to not go on PlayStation 5, but to only stay on Xbox only. So I want to hear your thoughts. What would you guys think if that was to only stay on PlayStation and not go, or only to go on Xbox and not be on PlayStation? I mean, truthfully, the whole exclusives thing here, and it's a thing that I discuss every day with people that I run into. I'm like, well, the thing of it is, yeah, it'd be awesome if you have exclusives. But does that mean that people are going to be wanting to play exclusive games on the Xbox only? is the thing. Because the thing of it is, are you going to play the exclusives that would be only on Xbox only? Because what's the purpose of doing an exclusive for Xbox if people still want to do that anywhere initiative, so to speak? I mean, let that sink in for a bit. Because, I'm sorry, I understand too where Asha Sharma did away with that, like the everywhere thing. But if that ever was to come back, as an exclusive thing, would you as a gamer be able to play your games on just a Xbox alone? Personally, me, it wouldn't matter to me much. Because gaming, to me, just being able to game no matter what is good enough for me. So it wouldn't matter to me so much as a gamer because I'm already gaming where I'm having fun at. And that's me gaming on the console that I've been gaming on. And that's my Xbox Series X. So I'm still enjoying games on my Xbox Series X, and so it doesn't matter because I'm right where I want to be. And I'm excited for many more things to come in the long run. I'm excited for what lineup that they may be having at the showcase. I'm waiting for surprises, of what's to come. I can't wait to see what Jeff Keighley's going to be discussing. What lineup they're putting there for him to be discussing and talking about. Because when you think about it too, there is so many titles that they could pick and choose from and decide to put there. Because this year alone, this year alone, the games that have been coming out all across the gaming universe, when you think about the games that have been coming out, it has been nothing short of amazing. Especially when, a year or so ago, that you never saw releases like this. Games being so close together that one every few days you're seeing something about a new game coming out. Whether it's a PlayStation release, Xbox, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, or whether it's a PlayStation game. It's crazy. And if it's not an actual new game, it's a remaster, remake. It's insane. But it's nice because it offers choices. It offers variety. So it's not just this one boring thing that you're getting. You're getting choices, variety, options, as a gamer. That's the amazing thing. Now, another thing too, that I think that is really going to make things exciting is when you start really seeing decisions getting made. Now, you might see little things getting tweaked here and there, little decisions from Asha Sharma and her team, Little ideas getting tossed around, like what they're gonna consider going forward with Game Pass. Are they gonna take first party games off? Are they gonna slowly back it down a little bit? Um, they're not gonna make these huge decisions right away. I would say probably January, most likely January of 2027, that you'll start to see it like everyone else is saying. Because the thing of it is, she's only been there for a few months, but she's already made some decent changes. But the bigger changes are going to go into next year, come next year, because those are, that's going to be her time to shine as a CEO. And that's going to be her time to really start making the big decisions that will count. Because, come next year, that's around the time that, PlayStation will launch their PS6 and with the Helix and stuff like that and many other things. I'm hoping Game Pass really doesn't go anywhere though, because Game Pass has been an opportunity for me to try games. That's just my personal opinion. Now, of course, we can agree to disagree. I have this as an open forum, um, an open discussion chat, because not everybody looks at it the same way. It might be different for other people. But the thing is, future is the future. Things can always change. Um, Either way, I'm still going to keep gaming, still going to keep putting things on this channel. And I want everyone to know that whatever I do with this channel going forward, whatever decisions I make and stuff like that, investments, I'll be putting things back into this channel. Um, you know, so, but, I'm excited, because every time I'm seeing something different, from these companies. Now, another thing I'm kind of like really getting outraged about is the way that Sony goes about raising their console $50 more. It's a little bit crazy when you want to do that. You want people to have the opportunity to be able to invest in your systems to go and be a part of next gen. But one thing you don't realize is it's hard on people. I mean, this world today, you're lucky if you can afford your grocery bill, plus your mortgage or a home, and manage keeping that afloat at the same time as doing gifts for your loved ones as well. Personally, me, heck, my bills are anywhere from like $300 to $500 a month. And I'm not lying right there. So, and that's just for me being a renter. So, when you see these console prices being as high as they are, I can understand when it gets rough on people. When you have these expenses and you want to do something for loved ones, but at the same, it's difficult. Because you have to pick and choose. You have to weigh your options. And when you have to weigh options, it hurts because you want to do something nice. But on the other hand, when it's too pricey, so I'm hoping that will change a little, but we all know with these corporations such as Sony, Nintendo, they're going to keep it where it's at because they are making the money either way. So despite what a streamer who basically like me is straps on a headset, and now I don't work at no fancy corporation. This is just me. I'm a guy with a microphone with a channel and makes videos each day of the week. So, but yeah, that's what makes it difficult, for people to get in your ecosystem or to get at your storefront when people are lucky if they can survive day to day, month to month, with everything that they got to deal with. And be able to do things for loved ones and family members, as well as being able to afford the hobby. I make it work even still, because I always find a way, no matter how crazy things get. But I love doing this because I can't see myself doing anything else now. Now that my situation has changed. But I still think it's a little crazy because you're jumping your system from I think it's at like $600 and some dollars, like $690 some dollars. Now it's gone up to 800, 900. Yeah, and that's rough. Same for the Xboxes. That's why I try and tell my son, you gotta take care of your system, pal, because especially if you want that system to last a while for you, you gotta take good care of it. So, but yeah, just a lot going on in the industry. I mean, just sometimes, you'll have these moments where it will be quiet for a bit, and then you'll have these moments where it'll pick up and get intense and get crazy. Where you'll have these games that'll be coming out that are totally new, or you'll have these games that will drop that are remasters or remakes. So, but that changes from day to day. So, each day it's different because you're always going to get something different out of it. Trying to think what else was I going to talk about. And the way that I've been seeing lately, since now that we did not get the video in the month of May when it comes to GTA 6, like I basically said, I figured it was going to be in the month of June because if you guys remember, there was a time, I believe in March, when there was talks about the marketing starting in the summer of 2026 for Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, I remember seeing that they said they would do their marketing summer of 2026. Now, that's why I said I remember when they were discussing about it. And that's what made me basically stick to my guns and go with, the June or July prediction of it being either June or July, because that was around the time that they said they would do it, was, summertime. And the thing with Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive is both of them, they're good about marketing. And either way, ain't no popularity contest. Because Rockstar North, they're going to end up selling copies of this game either way. Now, I heard that they wanted to go digital with it as well, because they wanted to see how digital would sell over disc. Because when you think about it too, most of the way that games are getting to be now, most of the games are becoming digital. You're barely seeing a disc game getting sold as much anymore. Like when you think about it, you go in these stores, even like GameStop, how often is it that you see a disc game being sold? How often is it that you see a disc game that gets bought from the store shelf? Not very often. Maybe there's maybe a small percentage, maybe 35 to 40% as a safe bet of disc games that get sold. You see movies that get sold that people want to get, or they get the box sets of movies that people get because they want to have it in their collection. Now, I've seen people that have bought games or movies that they're interested in, that they want the box set of it as a collector. I can understand that. Now, say if Grand Theft Auto 6 brings out, say, a collector's edition of their game, that's when I think people will be buying that like crazy. You would see a line at GameStop because people would want to buy a collector's edition of a disc set. Something like that will definitely draw the crowd in. It's like, okay, let me also, here's an example. Okay? Here's an example of how popular a disc game would be, just like a WWE event. Okay? Now, think about if, say, WWE SmackDown or WWE Raw comes to Pittsburgh. Say if you get a legend like Stone Cold Steve Austin, or you get a legend such as Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, is on that card to appear, and tickets were being sold. Alright? People go crazy to get their hands on a ticket just to be at that show. Tickets would sell out in a matter of weeks. Why? Because they promoted him to be there on that show that day. That's why people buy it like crazy. Now, here's the thing. Let me give you this example. If it happens with either Grand Theft Auto 6 or a Division game, I'll tell you this right now. If there was a box set and they were going to sell you Division 1, 2, and 3, or GTA 5 and 6 in a box set for one set price, with the map, all the decor with it, everything with it, would you do anything you could to buy that? Even if they bundled that in for a little over $100, would you buy it? Yes or no? If they were throwing that in on a box set deal, as a consumer, if they offered you a nice deal like that, heck, why not? Because the thing of it is, if you could get something as a collector's edition, people want to get their hands on the collector's edition of something. Because then it's something that if they never do it again, you could say, I got a piece of history. It's the same as that ticket to a show where a legend shows up, and if that legend never shows up again, you could say, heck yeah, I was there, I was a part of that, and I didn't get to miss it. That's the best part about all this. Aside from these obnoxious billionaires that always are going to want our money, I mean, that's never going to change. You could still be cautious every time you invest or buy or whatever you do. Nobody says you can't have fun with this hobby either and still be a cautious buyer. Yeah, and the thing of it is too, it's nice to be able to sit down and share thoughts with people about different games. Like, I've talked to so many different people, being a gamer, about what they like about games and the best part about stuff, and like all these multiplayer games I've also experienced, being able to roll around with different players, different teams, just teaming up with people and putting hours upon hours into these games. It's been fun. It's been awesome. I've made friends along the way. I've met a lot of different people from different walks of life. And it's awesome because we've come together. We might not know each other, but we've come together in just a video game world of just playing these missions. And every time I've met a certain amount of people, there's been times I've gotten together with them at least a couple of times in a row just to run missions with them. There's times they'll message me up and they'll be like, hey dude, hey brah, are you busy at the moment? Can you help me with this? Or can you help me pass this mission? No problem, dude. Right now, if I ain't busy, I'll help you. And that's what's fun about this. So it keeps me going of making these videos, doing these live shows. But I want to build this channel bigger. I want to be able to do gaming. I want to be able to build a PC where I can stream and game. I want to get a PC where I could do that for us on this channel. I want to get in the long run, I want to upgrade and get better equipment eventually, so we can build an awesome channel. Because I want to see myself doing this for the rest of my life until I don't exist anymore. Because gaming to me is a hobby that I will do whatever it takes so it stays here. I love this hobby. I love what I have been able to be a part of. I have loved this hobby from the start, since I first began to pick up a controller and play. I have gone from the Atari age, the Apple Macintosh computer. I have played that Apple computer before there was even an iPhone and an Apple Watch. I remember the days of AOL. I remember the days of Yahoo, MySpace, PlayStation 1, the OG Xbox, Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man, Super Mario Brothers, the original Nintendo, Atari, Dig Dug, Space Invaders. Like all the transitions that I have watched in gaming, the most amazing things that I have been a part of throughout this hobby. And I'm still here today with the community of all of you being able to talk about the most exciting games that I have been a part of. And still today, it amazes me of how much this hobby has changed, how much it's gotten better and better. You know, all these exciting games. But I'm looking forward to continuing to talk about this stuff. But I really think that there's a lot of things that these people at Sony and these people at Xbox need to realize is they need to be in it for us. They need to be in it for the gamers. They need to start realizing that what they pull or they take away or when they raise these prices, how much harder it is on the gamer, the consumer. They need to realize that they're not doing what they do for themselves. They do it for us. If they would not have their companies if it wasn't for the consumer. They would not have their companies if it wasn't for us that invest. If it wasn't for us buying their games, their accessories, their systems, going on the storefront, deciding what games to buy, what things to buy for our systems, or what we invest in for our Xboxes, the headsets, everything we buy and invest in. We are the reason why there's an Xbox. We are the reason as gamers why there is a Sony PlayStation 5 and a PlayStation 5 Pro. Nintendo is existing to this day because of their player base. If they didn't have their players investing in that, where would Nintendo be? They wouldn't be where they're at. It's because of the people that continue to buy the products is why Nintendo is making money, why PlayStation is making money. You know, they're making money because of people that are willing to pay for it. All these CEOs and all that, they need to really, really get with the program and see here that a portion of what they do is because of us. Is because of the gamers, the loyal fan base that ends up investing in the product. Because as it goes forward, people that will invest are going to be the reason why this is going to grow bigger and bigger. And what's going to happen to the loyalists? What's going to happen to people that are willing to invest? Now, you might have those that may continue to buy, to invest. You might have those that will still pull out their pocketbooks and pull out the money and still pay for it. But you'll see what's going to happen to those that have that trouble and have that issue. You'll start losing a portion of those people. But your hardcore will still hang in there and hold on because of the fact that they love this. They enjoy this. And with your help and your support, I know I can make this channel into something great. Because I want to stand up and say that this hobby is something that I will never want to see go anywhere. And I know this hobby's not going nowhere. Because the thing of it is, as long as we're investing in it, as long as we continue to play these games, as long as we continue to always be on our systems, as long as we're playing our games and keeping our achievements popping up there, as long as we're going on our games that we like, there ain't going to be a reason for this hobby to go anywhere. So like I always say, we got to keep gaming, gamers. We have got to keep it up. So that way it shows how much we love this hobby that we all share. We need to show Xbox that we mean business. We need to show them as gamers, keep gaming and building these achievements up so they realize that we mean business. And show them how much that gaming means to us. Because when we do that and they see these player numbers going up and up and up, that's when they'll take it seriously and realize, yeah, these people are definitely gamers because they're stepping up in numbers. So, and we have a lot of games out there, you know, that we're going to be able to play over the next few months, let alone going into the next year. Because truthfully, we don't even know what's coming in the next year. You know, we don't even know what's going to be released out there, to be honest. We might know maybe, a few months worth of games right now, but we don't know the rest of it. Because every day it's changing, it's shuffling around. Every day we're getting a different thing that gets released out there, a different game that's getting put out there. Or it's remakes of older ones. Like I seen the other day, Max Payne 3. They were talking about Max Payne 3 getting a remaster, and that's crazy in itself when you see that, because there had been talks about Max Payne 3 at one time, and the thing about that was, at one time they were saying they were going to do it and all that, and then they called that off, and here it is, folks. I was basically right. Call of Duty's coming out October 3rd, 2026, just like I said. Officially announces Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 coming to Xbox Series X and S, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. Just like I basically put on my YouTube today for all of you. That is all completely true. So basically what you saw today was all straight up legitimate. So that whole announcement was completely legitimate, what I ended up sharing with you guys on YouTube. So, yeah. And they're already starting pre-orders. They should be getting ready to start pre-orders really soon here, because they'll probably want to get a jump on that stuff ahead of or prior to that date of October 23rd. But I'm excited for that because, truthfully, I enjoyed Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Because they also put some older stuff from like older iterations of Call of Duty. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 is going to have first person. So that's going to be fun. And another thing too, I even heard some news about Division 3. Division 3 is getting even closer to release. They did not edge out or sketch out a date yet. That right now is still somewhat has not been decided yet. But eventually I'm sure that will also have an announcement date here any moment. But I'll be excited for that one. That's another game that I'm hoping soon gets a release date answer. Because I love the Division games. When I played Division 1, it was awesome. I enjoyed it. The whole story. Even the way that that story carried over from Division 1 into Division 2. And I've even played Division 2 a ton. And even I've never gotten bored. Because especially the way you can keep building your gear up, your weapons up. Like, I love games like that are open world, that you can continue to play, that there's never, where you never run out of things to do. That's the thing that I really get irritated with, is when you get a game that, okay, you play it to the end, you roll the credits, the game is over, the game is done with. I understand that some streamers and some like content creators that don't mind running a game until the credits roll and the game is done. But I like also having those games where I can just keep going and going. Because you can always constantly find new ways to build up characters that you have, and always finding new ways to do something within a game. So that's what I love about, games like Division 2 and others that I've played, where it'll still go on, and you're still finding new ways to do things. That's what's always kept me busy in games like that. Same goes for Grand Theft Auto 5. that even after beating a certain subset of missions, you've always continued to be able to go and do what you want to do even after. The only thing that's always irritated me about Grand Theft Auto 5 is when you really can't get teams together, then you get these players that become annoying because all they want to do is just go around the map and just blow you up. Yeah, and you can't get teams together. Then you don't want to, when you can't get these teams together and stuff like that, and you want to do these missions or you want to do these heists or the setups and stuff like that, it's hard for you to find teams. Unless you have a group of your friends and it's like a group of 4 people, that's a different story. It's not so bad once you have a group of 4 people together and you know these are people you can rely on because they're your friends. But unless you have that, it's not even worth really doing it. That's the only time that it's fun, is when you got a group of team comprised of your friends and no random players from online sessions. So that's the only time that you could seem to do anything, is whenever it's like that. So that's like that's the same in Division 2, but in Division 2, the only time you have the PvP element is if you go in the dark zone. Now, I did see something too that they want to do, or they were saying something about a PvE. Sorry about that, chat. They were saying something about a PvE element happening in Division 2. Now, I don't know how well that would go over, because sometimes, with you having that chance for the PvP element, I don't know how well a PvE element would be in the dark zone. That could go either way. Truthfully, that can go either way. Because you could take a chance on doing that, but then you can also take a chance on players interfering with it, players getting involved in it, and then it could blow up. So that's also a chancy thing there too. So either way, yeah. And then I did see a crazy thing too. I also recently seen online that now, because I thought 2K was struggling pretty badly, turns out they might not be. Because now, I heard something about 2K27 wrestling game now. That's why I also think it's crazy now. Because now they're talking about making a WWE 2K27 wrestling game, amongst other game titles that are to be announced. And this is after their investors' earnings call. So apparently, their earnings call really went well. And I guess apparently their budget's not as bad as people thought it would be, or it didn't turn out as bad as Take-Two thought it would be. So now you're going to start seeing things turning around where other games may be starting to get announced by them, along with the wrestling franchise, after all getting revamped, and no doubt, along with the sports franchise, no doubt getting revamped. Now, as far as employees that may have been laid off, there's no telling if that's going to turn around at all. All I know is there was only a certain amount of games that were to be announced through Take-Two Interactive at the moment. And looked like 7 or 8 games that they have announced, and that was after the earnings call that they recently had for the month of May. So I have no idea what is to come yet of that. So, I mean, there's a little bit of an upside right there, which is good for Take-Two. So, but I am looking forward, to what's coming, because June 7th is the actual showcase. The 2nd of June, Sony's going to have their showcase, and I guess it's supposed to be featured in the theater that they had booked. So, now what's to be announced there, I'm not really sure. And I'm not no insider, so I really don't have like the inside scoop of what can be said of what is going to be going on in there. All I know is based off of what I saw that they were going to do it inside of a movie theater for a change, since they haven't done it that way for a while. So there's no telling what may arrive there to be announced, but it's cool because they're bringing it back into like the theater setting again for the Sony showcase. So they might show off some things that might be some shockers, maybe, maybe not. It would be cool, but never know with Sony. You really can't predict what Sony will do either, or what moves that Sony will make. But all I know is it's still going to be a packed year, because they have been packing games into this year like nobody's business. When I sit and I think, it just blows my mind how many games I have seen and how many games I've scrolled through on social media when I look at so many social media posts. Because every other day or every other hour, now I don't know how many of you scroll through like Facebook or Google and just you look and see how much gets released every time. And it kind of blows your mind when you think about it, because that's when you start thinking about all this stuff that's getting released. And I'm scrolling right now, and aside from like advertisements of food and stuff like that, that's on Facebook, and like advertisements about animals and other crazy news stories. Like right now I don't really see any game things that are popping up. But sometimes during the day, I'll see about certain games that pop up online and all that, and I'll be like, dang. I'd be like, seriously. Because you really can't believe how much gets released out there. And then I start thinking to myself too, I'm like, between Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox, but mainly right now, with Xbox's show coming up, Sony State of Play, it makes me wonder, how are they going to select from a long list of games when there's so many games out there that are worthy of being chosen to be presented out there? AA titles, AAA titles. Same goes for Xbox. AA, AAA titles, games that are like new or remakes, remasters. Like, how many games that are out there? And there's only a certain amount that they can select because they only have a certain amount of time to run that show. The whole time that they have to run it. Like the theater that Sony has, they may only have that for a certain amount of time that's allotted to them. So what they have to do is come up with a certain lineup that they can present to their fans. People that have bought their tickets to be there. So they have to put on the show for like a certain amount of hours because they only have that theater for a certain amount of hours. And then the whole showcase with Xbox with FanFest, Keighley, even the Xbox showcase, like they only have so much time when they put on these things that they have to have a whole show put together with everything there, and they only have so much time for that. Like, I would not want to be a show planner, because the thing of it is, having to plan the whole show like that, no wonder these shows have to have an entire production team. Because without an entire production team, a show like that just wouldn't run smooth. Because I can imagine everybody that they have helping them to set that all up. I mean, I can't imagine how much work goes into that. But I give it up to them for doing that for the fans again. And bringing back FanFest, bringing back the showcase where people could go down in person and be a part of it. Go down there, be a part of the FanFest and the showcase again, and be in person to see that. People that have tickets to go down there to Sony State of Play, to be in that theater to see that. YouTubers, people that run shows like this. I hope one day, as hard as I've been working on this channel now, I hope that a year from now, the way that I keep staying dedicated, and dang right I will, but I hope that from a year from now, that I get to experience something like that. Because it'll be all worthwhile. Because gaming to me is something that is amazing. The way that they have put, the way that they put games together like that. You know, the stories that they do for the games, the way that they bring the worlds to life like they do. I give it up to them for that. The hours that these people spend on screens alone. Then you got these production teams that put these big shows together like this, from city to city. Yeah, and they have to plan for it ahead of time. I mean, it is something. It is really something. So, I really think it's something awesome of them doing this and then putting this stuff together. Yeah, even watching these games come together like they do. It must be rough too, because the people that put these games together always having to come up with new ideas for stories, to take the stories in different directions with each of the characters and all that, and they have to discuss things with the voice actors that voice the characters and have the discussions of like, okay, this is the way we're going to take this character and that character. You know, are you going to be able to pull this off or that off? A lot of these voice actors, they're used to doing it because, you know, it's their career, it's their job, and they're used to doing it. And when you see all the computer animation, and you see everything that these people put into that, even the capture and the animation from whenever these voice actors are in the suit. If you ever seen the work that they put into it, it's awesome how they do it. I mean, I've seen the motion capture suits with the mirror balls on them and stuff like that, and it's amazing what it picks up of all the frames and stuff like that, and then how that goes into the computer, and then they have this person that will sit there on the computer and render that, which is really something, because you really don't know the way that the technology is used unless you have seen like some of these behind the scene videos that get put out there. That's when you see the amazing way that these games are made and how awesome they are developed. But it's hours of hard work too, because they have to rehearse their lines, you have to go over their lines that they're doing. So it's like even hours of practice when they're doing it for each of the games they do. But it's amazing, because when you start to see these games appear on these shows, you know, and you start to see these games as they're getting awards for everything that was done, that's when you see the reactions of the people that have been a part of it, because they know that every bit of what they've done, when they get that award, that's when they know it is all paid off. Because they're like, man, it all paid off. I've been doing this for a long time, and when they get that award in their hands, they're like, man, it's all paid off. It was worth me doing this. It was worth me rehearsing my lines. It was worth me being in that suit for a long time, because now I got this nice award to remind me of the hard work that I did. So that's what makes us all fun, is the worlds that open up to you through it, the adventures you get to go on, because these are unforgettable adventures as a gamer that we experience. By each game that we play, each game that we pick up, and each game that we're doing, these are just the things that we experience. And these are things that we should cherish, because sometimes there's game titles that never ever get touched again. Like there's game titles that once they're done, they're done. Like they don't make any other versions of them, that they don't recreate them. Some of them, they just, once they're done with them, they're done with them. Like they're not going to write no more of them or make another part of it, and then they move on to something else. I could tell you over and over again that the games I've played, and how some of them that they've never come back to and have gone on to something else. Because in an ever-changing world full of games and ideas, and as many times as I've seen things change, where they're always looking for that next big thing, that next huge idea that they're looking for. That's why nobody sticks with just one idea, and they're always looking for something new. And that's the way it is, because that's the only way you're going to flourish and survive. Because you can only take something that's been around for a period of time, and there's only so much you can do with it. Like there's only so many parts you can make of a movie or a TV show before that starts to get stale, or that it loses its originality, and then it's not worth keeping it going anymore. Then you have to say, okay, time to go back to the drawing board, time to see what kind of new idea that we can come up with, and maybe if we present this newer idea, maybe it'd be better for us instead of trying to keep hashing out this same creation, but just putting a different number to it, or making it into, a different add-on to it, so to speak. Because you can only make so many versions of the same thing before it gets boring, or something ends up messing it up and it loses its style. So that's the way I always look at it. And video games are the same way. You can only make so many of them before it loses something along the way that just makes people not want to play it. Because they just don't seem to stay engaged or interested in it anymore. Because people don't want to keep playing the same version of the same game. You could try to add newer things to it. You could try to put different things in it. But if it still is not raising player engagement, you have to come up with something brand new. because that's what people need. New things to keep them going. Like now you see where after people have been playing Grand Theft Auto 5 for 13 years, now you're seeing GTA 6 on the horizon because people wanted something new. GTA 5, don't get me wrong, it's a nice game, it's a decent game, but when you've beaten all the missions, you've done all the contact missions, you've done all the stuff to it, people wanted something new. And now it's time for something new. It's time for new characters, new adventures, and it's time for a change. So that's why GTA 6 is going to release. Because it's going to be something different for fans to be able to play. Not only that, they're supposed to open more structures in this. They're saying that we're going to get a different wanted level to try to outrun the police. There's going to be forensics. If you shoot somebody down in the street, the pedestrian is going to be able to call the police and identify you. They are going to be able to know your eye color, your clothing. They'll be able to identify you by bloodstains on your clothes. They will be able to identify your license plate on your car. So you need to switch out your whole thing because this is what the NPCs will do. And there's going to be where the police will tape off the scene and they will draw a chalk outline of the bodies that you dropped. Now, these are just little things that I've seen online and have heard online about Grand Theft Auto 6 that we're going to get. Possibility of getting. And from what I heard, and this was from the first investor call, and this is going to shock you when I tell you, $2.6 billion has been invested in this game. Was the last total for this game. That is more than they invested in Grand Theft Auto 5. Because they want to make this game even bigger. This game is going to have twice the size of the map that GTA 5 does. Now, that's what I heard. Because Rockstar now is saying it's either go big or go home. Because now that it's the 6th iteration of their game, they're not letting the player base down this time. Because this is going to be one of their largest titles yet, as far as Grand Theft Autos are concerned. So, these are just a little bit of some things that I know right now. But I am not going to hesitate to get the game because I'm a huge Grand Theft Auto fan. What can I say? Always have been. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Division 3. And most of all, another game that I'm so excited for. Hitman 4. The reason why I'm excited for Hitman 4 is because what I've heard from Iowa Interactive, IOA, same people that did 007, this recent 007. I'm excited because they want to give a little more leeway to where you can choose how to take down your targets. So in other words, you're going to get a little more choices of how you're going to bring down your enemies in this next game. So you're going to get a little more freedom when you go after your targets and stuff like that, to where you're going to be able to choose how you bring them down. It's not going to be as stiff as it was in like 3 or 2 or 1, where you have to select a certain weapon, certain costume, certain things like that. They're going to make it a little bit easier instead of doing that. So it's going to be cool. But let me know what you guys think about the new background for the channel. But I would appreciate if you guys could continue to support, sharing. And, if you like what I talk about, what I discuss about on the channel, feel free to hit the like button. If you really enjoy it, you can subscribe. That'll help me reach my goal. My goal is to reach 50,000 subscribers, so I can start doing live shows, or live shows of gaming, so that way I can do live shows whenever I go to play certain games on the channel, so that way you guys can be a part of that live and interactive. So, because I want to be able to include you guys on that. So I don't want to be having to continue to record and post up forever, but I would appreciate if you can do that. And just remember that in the long run, if we reach that goal, or we eventually reach the goal, there's a lot that I plan on doing with this channel. But just remember that every little bit that people contribute, it all goes back to the channel for me to build for this channel. But like I said, we got a lot to be excited for. I mean, Division 3, Hitman 4, 007's already out. As you're seeing, they're rallying for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. That's coming out October 23rd. GTA 6, which is November 19th. You got the Xbox Showcase right around the corner. Sony State of Play is around the corner. And many other things that are right around the corner. The Fan Fest is right around the corner. And according to what I've seen, the showcase is right around the corner. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's coming. Lots of stuff that's going to start happening. Lots of events taking place. Lots of exciting things. Things to be excited for, to be happy for. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for all this. I'm excited to see what's going to be there, what's going to be taking part in everything. I can't wait for it. I honestly can't. But I'm going to temper my expectations, because I know there's going to be certain things that ain't going to show up. Like, I know you're not going to see some major titles there, because I don't think they're going to show off like huge titles there, because sometimes the big bangers, the major titles, they wait till particular points to show those off. Sometimes they leave that kind of stuff in store for other things. So, that's why I'm waiting for a certain point for other things. But we have a lot of other things that are in the works. So, and all I could say is just keep your eyes out, because keep your eyes and your ears out on things, because there's always something lurking right around the corner that's going to be released, or that's going to come out. I know it. But I've enjoyed doing these shows each and every day of the week. I've enjoyed talking about stuff that I'm passionate about, games that are coming out, remasters and remakes. And if it's true that they are if they are working on Max Payne 3, I'm looking forward to when they do that. And whoever does that, they better do it and do it right. They better start doing a lot of these games right, especially remasters, remakes. Like if they do GTA 4, I hope it's Rockstar that takes that, because Rockstar is the only one that should have that. Because they are the ones that will do that title justice. Lots of one of the other studios, I forgot who the heck they were, but one of the other studios that took the trilogy and did it. I mean, they did it dirty. And GTA 4, being such a mega game in itself, with the protagonist that did it, yeah, that game needs to be done and done right. So, but I'm going to be getting ready to wrap this up here, because it is about 10:15 my time, and I'm almost near at the 2-hour mark. But if anybody wants to ask me anything, they can feel free. Basically, because I'm at the part of this show here where anyone wants to come in and chat, they're more than welcome. Because I pretty much covered a few different things, even though I went off on a couple of tangents here and there. But if anybody wants to come in and chat, they're more than welcome. Because I open up this show to my fans, as well. Anybody that just wants to come in and chat or ask me a few questions about things, I'll do my best to answer it. Or if you just want to come in and chat, I'm cool with that too. Otherwise, I'm going to be getting ready to wrap up the show for tonight. I just wanted to come on here and talk about a few things, a few thoughts I had on my mind of some things that I've been seeing go on. But you know what? Like I've always said, be cautious when you buy, and just be careful, with your purchases. Because as things are getting more expensive, we all have to be cautious. out there. But most of all, don't forget to enjoy this hobby for what it is. It's fun. It's entertaining. Most of all, remember that with all these games that are out there, you have plenty of choices. But just remember that when it all comes down to it, these people that are the head of the corporations and stuff like that, they're in it for themselves, not for us. We have to be in it for ourselves. We have to look after ourselves. Yeah, these games are awesome and fun and enjoyable to play, but in the long run, it's us that has to be careful when we're investing in this hobby that we have. So just remember that. But most of all, have fun with what you do when you game, and enjoy the hobby, but be very cautious in what you invest in and the decisions that you make. And make the decisions that are best that suit you. And suit what, or do what you feel that's affordable for you. Don't go off on no crazy spending spree. So, but most of all, like I always say, before I end all my videos, top gamer.